I can't hear you, Mr. Howard.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Fourth arrest, 2011 suspended license. Before that was 2000.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Graham?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place. Oh, also, I just want to point out that there's a co-defendant, position number 1.
Okay.
So on February 13th, law enforcement responded to a verbal dispute at 2609 Charleston Drive, apartment 8A in College Park. Upon arrivals, they did speak with Myra Doherty, the
Excuse me, just 1 second. The gentleman who is appearing via iPhone wearing a thank you. Okay. Sorry about that, Mr. Graham. We had to mute him. Oh, God. Okay. All right, folks. When one person is speaking, the rest of you remain muted. And if you interrupt, I will have you removed from Zoom. Thank you. Sorry about that, Mr. Graham. Please continue.
No problem at all. So they spoke with, the officer spoke with Myra Doherty. She's the mother of Brittany Body, the co-defendant in the case, who advised that she had asked her daughter to leave the home, but the daughter refused. She also advised that Miss Body had broken her mirror and knocked the TV off of the wall. That began a verbal dispute that became physical when Miss Body approached her in an aggressive manner, and Miss Doherty defended herself. Miss Body told the officers that her mother was the initial aggressor during the verbal altercation, and that Miss Doherty walked up to her in an aggressive manner. She defended herself. During the physical altercation, Miss Body was pushed into the mirror and the table, which then broke. And as she was attempting to get Miss Doherty off of her is when she hit the TV. The officer observed injuries on both parties. Miss Body had a scratch on the right side of her cheek and a bruise on the left eye. Miss Doherty had several scratches with blood residue, including the left side of the neck, right cheek, left cheek, and a busted lip. The officer also observed a broken mirror, did not observe the TV on the floor. They were both arrested as the primary aggressor could not be determined. And for Miss Doherty, the state is recommending signature bond through pretrial services, a 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Brittany Body. We're asking for a stay away from the incident location, and we'll have the court determine who stays away, who will return. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, thank you. Do we have Brittany Body in the courtroom?
Yes, she's here.
All right, she can remain seated back there. Miss Body, your case number is 24 CR 000743, also accused of battery, family violence involving with Myra Dougherty. And Mr. Cook is going to be your counsel. You've also been advised of your right to remain silent. Mr. Howard, any priors with regards to Ms. Brittany Body?
Third arrest, 2013 battery, trespass dismissed. 2011 shoplifting, PTR.
Okay. And Mr. Graham, do you have anything else to add with regards to Ms. Body?
No, Your Honor. All the facts are the same.
And Mr. Cook? Oh, sorry, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is your client on the lease or owns the property?
Yes, Your Honor. My client lives there. Miss Body has just essentially been visiting. She's been there for approximately 2 weeks, my client tells me.
Okay.
But my client lives there with some of her other children and with her grandchildren. And her name is the only one on the lease.
Her bond is going to be 2,500 signature bond through pretrial services. She can return to the apartment in question. She's to have after today, she's to have no further contact with Brittany Body. And no illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. And she's to report to pretrial once a month. She's also to attend and complete a 2-day anger awareness program with the pretrial services. The next court date will be sent to her address at this particular apartment. Mr. Cook, I'm going to grant a signature bond to Ms. Body as well, but she'll need to vacate the premises. Any comment?
That's fine, Your Honor. We're fine with that.
All right. Ms. Brittany Body, your bond is also going to be a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial services. You will also report to pretrial once a month, and you will also undertake and complete a 2-day anger awareness program with pretrial services. After today, you are to have no further contact with Myra Dougherty. You are to stay away from, was it 2069 something apartment 8?
It's
Yes, Your Honor,
25.
2609 Charlestown Drive.
Charlestown Drive, okay,
Apartment 8A, I think.
right.
That's wrong.
And Miss Body, you're to stay away from that entire complex. You're allowed a one-time visit to that location with a police officer to retrieve all your belongings, but that visit cannot exceed 1 hour. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms, and your next court date will be sent to your new address. So within 30 days from today, you must update the court in writing what your new address is.
Your
Any
Honor,
questions, Mr. Cook?
yes, can I get that bond amount again in the level?
2,500 signature bonds with pretrial.
Okay. Miss, I realize she's not my client, but she just said something about that, the address being discussed is the wrong address. So you might want to inquire.
Miss Dougherty, what is the correct address where you have a lease?
It's
25.
2591 Charleston Drive, apartment 8A in College Park, Your Honor.
2591?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So if they are cohabitating, Miss Dougherty can return to the location. Miss Body must vacate. I mean, she can only go there one time to get her belongings and then vacate immediately.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right,
Thank
that
you.
concludes these two cases. Ms. McLeod, do you have any other cases on the calendar today?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right, and just out of abundance of caution, Mr. Graham or Mr. Walker, are we going to add any additional cases to the calendar today?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. So, let me fix my camera. Okay, so I got an email from the clerk's office saying that there's going to be an add-on last name Moultrie. I'm not aware if that will be a conflict. I don't think it will. It should be a simple battery on a police officer, but there will be one additional case added to today's calendar.
Would the PD's office, have they spoken to a Mr. Moultrie?
This might be a Miss Moultrie.
Yes, they spoke to her earlier.
All right. Mr. Cook, or who's the other PD at the
Mr.
jail?
Tai spoke to.
Mr. Tai, and are you all taking that case on for today?
Yes, Your Honor. She was arrested January 30th. So,
So, but it's a PD case, right?
yes.
Okay. All right, Ms. McLeod, just wanted to make sure. Thank you so much. You're free to
You're
go.
welcome, Your Honor. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, the lady with the orange bandana.
Position 6, Ms. Jackson.
Yolanda Jackson is accused of battery family violence on February 13th, 2024 in case 24 CR 748. Ms. Jackson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
20 total, 2011 DUI, 08 simple battery conviction, 02 simple assault, battery hindering, and the 01 simple assault and battery conviction. So you got history out of state as well.
Anything more recent?
No.
All right, thank you. Mr. Graham?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place on February 13th, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a dispute call at 521 Helton Place Northwest in Atlanta. Upon arrival, the responding officer noted multiple scratches on Durante, D-U-R-A-N-T-E, Bivens' face, inflicted by Yolanda Jackson, his mother. The officer did obtain from Mr. Bivens that they do live together. Our office has been in contact with the victim. He confirmed that he has been staying with his mother for about 3 months until he's able to move out. They did get into an argument, and she attacked him by grabbing his face and scratching him. The victim also stated this is not the first time that she's been violent towards him, not the first time the police have been called, but the first time she's been arrested. He does not want contact with Miss Jackson wants her to stay away from the residence until he's able to leave. He does plan on leaving sometime around the beginning of March. He indicated he will be on Zoom, so if we can sound for the victim. The state is recommending signature bond through pretrial services, anger awareness, no further contact with Durante Bivens, stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond.
Durante Bivens, please unmute and start your video. Durante Bivens, I have a Zoom user. Could you identify yourself, please? I have someone on a Zoom panel with the name Zoom user and someone on iPhone. Could you unmute and identify yourself?
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry, ma'am. I want to apologize for the interruption earlier. My name's Jeff
What's
Bivens.
your name is Jeff Bivens?
Yes, ma'am. And that's my sister, Yolanda Jackson.
Okay.
I did want to address the court concerning the situation.
In a moment. Zoom user.
I'm here.
All right. I don't want to look at the front door. And
Yeah,
what's
yes,
your name?
ma'am. I'm here. I couldn't get it to unmute.
What's your name?
My name is Durante Bivens.
All right. Mr. Durante Bivens, you need to stop walking. Take your hat off.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
All right. Who owns the property that you're currently residing in?
My mom does.
All right. And who pays the rent and the mortgage?
My mom.
All right. And you want no contact with your mother?
Yes, I just want to just leave like I told you and just.
You would have to leave within the next 24 hours.
Yeah, I don't have a way to leave in 24 hours.
You have to leave in 24 hours. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Jeff Bivens, please unmute and raise your right hand. You have to remove your hat. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
And what would you like to tell me?
I just wanted to add to the court that for the incidents going back and forth with the mother and son, that she always took him in and take care of him and try to do her best for him. Unfortunately, she I don't know the guilty innocent of the incident that happened last night, but she's been like real trying to do her best to help her son, and they clash. But a lot of times it be on the other side. It don't be her, it be him. And sometimes it be her and it don't be him. So, just unfortunately she got arrested for it last night and it was some contact. But I was glad to hear you say that she'd be able to come back to her residence. That's why I came on the Zoom. Because
Okay.
I was
Thank you.
Hey, Your Honor,
Yes,
briefly,
Mr. Walker.
I know that you can't allow the defendant to return to her home, but telling the victim that he has to leave within 24 hours, unless he's been evicted, he does not have to leave. He's lived there for 3 months, as you
No,
know.
Mr. Walker, let me clarify. If
Okay,
he
please
doesn't want
do.
to have any contact with her, he needs to leave the premises.
Okay, I just want to make sure that
I
you
just want to
want the
clarify that.
victim to
Yeah,
leave,
I
but
totally understand.
he
Yeah,
is a legal tenant and can't stay
Yeah.
there until he's evicted.
okay, thank you.
Ma'am, my daughter
Please.
is in school. My daughter, let me turn it around. I'm sorry. My daughter is in school is the only reason why I can't. My daughter is in school, and I had this arrangement with my mom that I would just stay
Mr.
to that
Bivens,
allowed.
I'm not going to talk to you. Okay, now listen very carefully.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
listen very carefully. Your mom is going back to the house. Okay, and she is going to be under an order to have no violent contact with you. All right. Now,
ma'am.
if you, a grown man, wants to still continue living with your mom because your daughter is going to school, that's your responsibility. But at the end of the day, that's her house, and you show some respect to her because she's giving you shelter for you and your child. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
I know you're a victim of a crime. I know that. All right. But under the circumstances, there's got to be some kind of leeway. And the leeway is she gets to go home, but she's going to be under a bond where she cannot fight with you. Okay? And if she loses her temper, she needs to turn around and go for a long walk. All right? But at the same time, what I do recognize is that you have no property rights there. And
Yeah, I
that if
just help
she-
pay. I just help pay
if
for
she
stuff.
and if she wants you out of the house, she needs to file a dispossessory action against you. And if you want to walk out of that house with an eviction order hanging over your head, the only person who's going to be jeopardized is your daughter, because it's going to be darn difficult for you to find a rental place. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Best time to keep quiet now. Ms. Jackson, you have a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial services. You report to pretrial once a month. You are to have no violent contact with Jeff Bivens. And if you get angry again, like I said, take a long walk, because if you get into another altercation with him and the police get involved, you're going to be back in jail and you're going to be out of a house. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and you have to report to pretrial once a month. Mr. Cook, anything else?
Well, we would dispute who the aggressor was here.
Oh, that's something that she's gonna have to deal with at trial, but not
No, I
today.
understand. I just, for the record, Mr. Bivens is 300 pounds and 5'9". She's 5'2". So just so everybody understands. But yeah, so she understands no violent contact, and she should probably, my advice is to start an eviction or dispossessory as soon as possible. But she understands no violent contact. She needs to walk away if she.
All right, understood. Thank you, Mr. Cook. Mr. Jeff Bivens and Mr. Devontae Bivens, you're both free to go.
Thank you.
Next case, please.
Position 8, Morris.
Dionysia Morris is accused of giving false information to an officer from February 13th, 2024. Ms. Morris, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Atei. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
Fifth arrest, 2022 FTA, shoplifting obstruction, 2020 shoplifting conviction. And I think she got open armed robbery kidnapping charge from felony. That's
Today?
it. I want to say yes.
All right. Ms. Dunlop, just one second. Ms. Atei, does your client have an open felony case? Has she been to first appearance recently?
Yes, Your Honor. I think she did not receive a bond.
Okay. Ms. Dunlop, considering the circumstances, any objection to $1,000 signature bond through the jail?
The signature bond was through the jail was the recommendation.
All right. $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Case is further notice. Do not lie to the officers. Thank you.
You're good. Next is position 2, Mr. Brina.
Miss Kiara Jenkins, are you lying down in bed? All right, thank you. Just making sure. You are not in bed? Turn the phone around. I want to see what you're sitting on. Unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Are you in bed?
Yeah, I'm sitting on my bed.
You need to get out of bed. You are in a courtroom, even though it's a virtual courtroom. This is not a picnic nor a nightclub. Get out of bed. Get out of bed. Mute the screen and stop the video until her case is called. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry, courtroom 2, who's next in the red jacket?
Number 3. I'm sorry, position 2.
2. This is Shane Brebner, accused of battery, family violence from February 13th, 2024. Mr. Brebner, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Cook. Your case number is 24 CR 744. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
11 total. 2023 FTA, 2022 FTA. 3 probation violations from 2019 possession of meth, possession of drug-related objects conviction. He's on probation for possession of meth out of Harrison County. They gave him 3 years last year in June. 2017 obstruction, trespass, battery conviction out of Carroll County.
Battery, family violence, or just battery?
Just battery.
Okay, and that was 2017?
Correct. Carroll County.
Carroll County. All right, that's good. Thank you. Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place on February 13, 2024. Law enforcement responded to a fight call at 5660 Forest Downs Circle in South Fulton. Officers met with Hannah Hamilton, a little ways down from the location, who stated she was physically assaulted by her boyfriend, Shane Brebner, when he slapped her in the face as she was leaving the house with a friend. After he smashed her phone, she was able to get out of the house and into her friend's car, who was waiting outside. They drove to the secure location to call the law enforcement. The officer did observe bruising on the left side of Miss Hamilton's face. The responding officer attempted to make contact with Mr. Brebner at the apartment. There was no answer. After returning back to where Miss Hamilton was located and requesting EMS for her injuries, he noticed a person matching the description of Mr. Brebner, given by Miss Hamilton. Mr. Brebner was detained without incident. He told the officer that Miss Hamilton began the altercation by punching him unprovoked, and he accidentally slapped her in the face while trying to defend himself and stepped on her phone in the process. He confirmed that he and Miss Hamilton are in a relationship. They have lived together for a year. Based on the history, the state is requesting a $3,000 surety bond, anger management, no further contact with Hannah Hamilton, stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
I'm sorry, I couldn't, what did you say the surety bond amount?
3,000.
3,000, okay, thank you. Mr. Cook?
Your Honor, we have no disagreement with the no further contact to the stay away provisions of the NADW. I would leave the rest up to the discretion of the court.
The bond is set at $3,000. It is a surety bond. No further contact with Hannah Hamilton to stay away from 5660 Forest Down Circle. If she is living there, then he has to vacate the premises. He can return one time only with a police officer to retrieve his belongings. The visit cannot exceed 1 hour. Mr. Cook, does I'm assuming your client lives there with the alleged victim?
That is my understanding, Your Honor, yes.
All right. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. And once he's released on bond, he has 30 days to update the court with his new mailing address. He would need to come to the clerk's office and provide that in writing. Thank you.
Excuse me, Your Honor, will you give me that bond amount again? I got distracted.
Okay, 3,000 surety bond.
And what was the contact?
No contact with Hannah Hamilton. Stay away from 5660 Forest Down Circle.
Thank you so much.
One-time visit and update address within 30 days.
Thank you.
Next case, or next court date is February 27th at 9 a.m.
Thank you.
Next position is 4, Dewberry. Thank you, sir.
James Dewberry is accused of criminal trespass under accusation number 24 CR 746. Alleged incident date is on February 13th, 2024. Mr. Dewberry, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Mr. Cook. Any priors?
63.
Any open cases?
Well, his last arrest was on the 3rd of this month. Possession of drug-related objects, conviction. He went to the city jail for that. 2023, I think it was October or November. Criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. Got another criminal damage to property and a trespass from last year and another one.
That's good. Thank you. Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident took place February 13th, 2024. Law enforcement responded or were dispatched to the Buddy's gas station located at 1079 North Avenue Northeast. They met with the owner, Mr. Fuad, F-U-A-D, Siddiqui, Siddiqui. He advised that James Dewberry had been issued a criminal trespass warning on February 2nd, that Mr. Dewberry was aware he was no longer allowed on the property due to previous issues. The responding officer did see Mr. Dewberry on the property. He was detained without incident. And the state's recommending, based on the history of $500 surety bond, no further contact with Fuad Siddiqui, stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you. Mr. Cook?
I'm sorry, what was the bond request or recommendation?
$500 surety bond.
Your Honor, we had no problem with that. Mr. Dewberry's homeless. I suspect we will be sending a social worker to help him work on accommodations.
Bond is set at $500. It's a surety bond to stay away from the Buddy's gas. Is it the Buddy's gas station or Bucky's?
It is Buddy's, Your Honor.
Buddy's,
BUDD.
okay.
Yes, Bucky's is huge.
Okay, Buddy's gas. And that's at 1709 North Avenue, Northwest Atlanta, correct?
I have 1079 North Avenue.
1079.
Yes.
And no further contact with Fuad Siddiqui. Next court date is February 27th. No illegal drugs, alcohol, and weapons. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. If they try to get her out of here,
Good afternoon, Judge Sergeant Johnson. Is there any way that we could get someone added to the calendar? Because she's been here since. She's gonna add. They're gonna add it because we're trying to get her out of jail, like right now if possible.
Is it
Hey, I'm working on it. I'm submitting an NOD, so give me 2 seconds. And
So it's gonna be NOD, Mr. Walker?
at this point, I will.
Okay, thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Sarge.
Thank you. Okay, NOD, okay.
Next case, please. Is it Ali?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I apologize one more time. Is there any way we get, Mr. Walker, we can get that paperwork to records, please?
Yeah, as soon as I type it, I'm sending it right away, man.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
It's on its way.
FYI, I wouldn't keep Sergeant Johnson waiting, Mr. Walker. So years of experience for that. Okay, okay. All right. State versus Ali Raza Haider, 24 CR 747, accused of 2 counts of theft by shoplifting. The first count 1's from February 12th, 2024. Count 2's from February 11th, 2024. Mr. Haider, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Mr. Keith Cook. Any priors, please?
No.
Okay. Mr. Graham?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. So this incident took place on, there were 2 theft by shoplifting charges, 2 separate dates, February 11th and February 12th. On February 12th, law enforcement responded to the target at 13055 Highway 9 North in Milton. Upon arrival, they spoke with loss prevention manager Craig Towns, who provided photos and video of Ali Haider stealing 2 large packs of Pokemon cards, a total value of $99.98. Mr. Towns also informed the officer that Mr. Haider was seen the day before, February 11th, stealing another 2 packages of Pokemon cards, same value of $99.98. He shared photos and videos of that occurrence. The officer verified the individual in the surveillance footage was the same person. Also, the person that was the owner of the vehicle that was used to leave the store is registered to Mr. Haider. The state is recommending a signature bond through pretrial services, an anti-theft course, stay away from the target, the Milton location target, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Any objection with the stay away, Mr. Cook?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. On each count is going to be $1,500. That's a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. This is going to be a level 2. Stay away from all Target stores, including the one at 13055 Highway 9 in Milton, Georgia. No illegal drugs and no weapons and no firearms. You cannot enter a single Target store, at least in North America. Thank you.
Give me, position number 7, Low.
Demario Lowe, ready? Demario Lowe is accused of reckless conduct from February 13th, 2024. Accusations 24 CR 000749. Mr. Lowe, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Atay. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
6 adult arrests. 2023 probation. 2022 cruelty in the second, reckless conduct, tampering with evidence. 2020 driving, and a 2019 reckless conduct conviction.
Mr. Graham?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place February 13th, 2024. Law enforcement conducted a traffic stop due to Demario Lowe not wearing a seatbelt in the front seat. As officers approached the vehicle, they observed Mr. Lowe place something in the backseat floorboard behind the driver's seat. The item ended up being a loaded handgun. There were 2 minor children sitting in the back seat. Based on the history and the presence of the gun, the state is requesting a $10,000 surety bond. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no firearms.
And Mr. Howard, the 2022 cruelty in the second degree, was that a conviction or an arrest?
I think an arrest.
Okay. Does he have a felony conviction so far?
I didn't see any. I mean, I didn't write it down if he did. Hold
Okay.
on, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 5. He only has one other arrest outside of the ones I gave you, so I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Atay?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 23 years old. He's lived in Georgia all his life. He does deny the allegations. He does have a minor child that he works to provide for. Again, he denies the allegations. I would say that, you know, if someone who was pulled over took steps to put distance between themselves and their firearm, which is in the vehicle, I think that would be a prudent thing to do here. The charge is reckless conduct for doing that. I think it would make an officer more comfortable to have the firearm further away. Again, he's charged with reckless conduct here. A $10,000 surety bond is beyond excessive. I would ask for, and his history isn't anything that would pose a threat to the public. I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services. Level 1.
My concern is that he's got an open felony case for cruelty in the second degree. The allegation is that there are minor children in the cabin of the vehicle. And I'm sorry, what was that? Bond is set at $3,500. It is a surety bond. No weapons, no firearms, no illegal drugs, and no alcohol. Next court date is February 27th. Thank you.
So, Judge, I would like to know, is the child endangerment charge, is that dismissed?
Hey, drop it.
Yes.
Okay. Can I get, this was position number 9, Mr. Reed?
State versus Rashad Reed, accused of disorderly conduct from February 12th, 2024, case number 24 CR 751. Mr. Reed, your attorney is Ms. Atay, and you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Mr. Howard?
11 total. 2016 ag assault conviction. 2013 battery dismissed. That's it.
And Mr. Graham? Oh, sorry, Ms. Dunlap?
Your Honor, so this incident happened on February 12th, 2024 at 3091 Campbellton Road Southwest. The warrant has a few different things going on, but it said that the victim in this case, Ms. Kenesha Stewart, called 911 twice. regarding a possible gun involvement when officers arrived. She stated there was no gun involved in the incident. She did state she wanted the defendant to leave the home that they both share. They do share a 1-year-old child. Officers did advise her she would need to get an eviction and a TPO because there were some allegations of him being physical with her and the 1-year-old child in the warrant as well. So with that being said, the state is looking for a signature bond through pretrial, no further contact with the victim, Kenesha Stewart, a stay away from 3091 Campbellton Road Southwest, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while on bond, and we can sound for the victim when appropriate.
Kenesha Stewart?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
All right. Ms. Stewart, would you like to contribute to the proceedings?
Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on the lease at the property?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And was a firearm involved?
No, ma'am.
That's in the warrant. Okay. Thank you very much. Ms. Atay, anything to add?
Yes, Your Honor. I will state that my client does deny the allegations in the warrant. The warrant itself, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it, but the police arrived after several 911 calls stating that there's a gun involved. You heard the witness state that there's no gun involved. She stated that she just wanted my client out of
Ms.
the.
Atay, please hold a second. A Zoom user just came on the main session. Could we remove him? I think he's driving. Thank you. All right, you continue. He has no priors.
Well, 8 years ago, Your Honor. But, you know, from reading the warrant, it's clear that the complaining witness is using these proceedings and the arrest to evict my client from her home. When the police told her they can't evict him since he lives in the home, she said, "Oh, he hit me." No gun was involved. The warrant states that the police officer informed her that her story had changed several times and that nothing at all was consistent. I'm reading from the warrant here. I requested the state to dismiss the charges, but he shouldn't have been arrested, Your Honor. I object to stay away, ask for no further no violent contact. He shouldn't be evicted in this manner. And a signature bond through the jail. If you read the warrant, he should not have been arrested.
Okay. It's a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial services. No violent contact with Kenesha Stewart. And no weapons, no firearms, and no illegal drugs, and no alcohol. He'll report to pretrial once a month. If he decides to vacate voluntarily, that's entirely up to him. But Ms. Stewart can go ahead and file a dispossessory action if she's the person on the lease. Thank you.
Position number 10, Mr. Stowers.
Christian Stowers is accused of simple battery family violence from February 13th, 2024. Mr. Stowers, your case number is 24CR752. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Atay. Any priors, Mr. Howell?
No.
Ms. Dunlap?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident happened on February 13th, 2024 at 3706 The Valley in Sandy Springs. Victim in this case is Kiara Jenkins. Officers responded to a domestic dispute at this address. Both parties stated they had been drinking and got into a verbal dispute. The officer said both parties were engaged in the physical altercation, but the defendant was determined to be the primary aggressor. Ms. Jenkins stated the defendant struck her in the face, causing injuries to her nose, and she did scratch him in some self-defense. With that being said, the state is looking for a signature bond through pretrial, no further contact with the victim, Kiara Jenkins, a stay away from 3706 The Valley in Sandy Springs, family violence intervention program, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, and we can sound for the victim when appropriate.
Ms. Jenkins, could you unmute if you'd like to contribute to the proceeding? Otherwise, I'm moving on. Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. Yes. What would you like to tell me?
Okay, so basically, like, I'm not gonna lie, they kind of seasoned that how they wanted to. Because in reality, they said they seen a red mark on my nose. I did not see no red mark on my nose. The most we did was push each other. There wasn't no physical altercations. I really didn't even want him to get arrested because it wasn't that deep. Neither one of us called the police. It was like a neighbor had to be, because they just kind of showed up. He's a good man. He takes care of his family. He pays the bills. He works hard. We have a newborn. Like, we've been living together for 2 years. We really don't have no problems, no issues like that. Like, he's not a bad person at all. He's not a danger to neither one of us. And he does what he needs to do. He had literally just got off work before it even happened.
All right, thank you. Bond is set at $2,000. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. No violent contact with Kiera Jenkins. He may return to the location. No illegal drugs, no alcohol. He'll be subject to random screens by pretrial for alcohol and illegal drugs, and he cannot own or possess a firearm. While he's out on a signature bond, he will enroll and complete 12 anger management classes. Those classes must begin within 30 days of being released, and he must show proof of enrolling in those classes
Your Honor,
to his pretrial officer. Yes, Ms. Attea, I was waiting for you to say something about that. Go ahead.
Yes, I didn't have an opportunity to speak.
No, I was going to go through all that, then let you object.
Yes, Your Honor, I object to the FVIP. I mean, you heard the witness
No,
say-
there's no FVIPs, anger management classes.
I would ask, Your Honor, please, for a 1-day anger awareness at the most. Nothing happened here. You heard the complaining witness. Nothing happened.
It's either the anger management classes or no contact and stay away. What would your client like to do?
Anger management.
Okay. Next court date will be sent to the Sandy Springs address. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Position 11, Thompson.
Willie Thompson is accused of battery, family violence from February 12, 2024. His accusation is 24 CR 000753. Mr. Thompson, you have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Attea. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
15 total. 2021 suspended license, 16 sale of marijuana, and a 06 FTA. I didn't go past that 06.
All right, thank you. Ms. Dunlap?
Thank you, Your Honor. It looks like this incident stemmed from December 12th, 2022 at 2800 Martin Luther King.
I'm sorry. I have February 12th, 2024. This is Willie Thompson. Do you have a 2022 date?
I have a 2022 date, but let me just double check, Your Honor. 1 second. Sorry about that.
The incident date on the warrant is December 12th, 2022.
Yeah, I have
Okay, let me correct that. December 12th,
2022.
2022. Okay. All right, I had a different date on the calendar. All right, I'm sorry. You may proceed.
So officers responded to a injured person call at the address. They spoke to the victim, a Miss Melissa Blalock, apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, who stated that her brother, the defendant, called her and was screaming obscenities at her, said he was coming over. She advised him she didn't want him to come to her home several times. He still showed up at her home. He was banging on her door. When she opened her front door, he told her that he screamed more obscenities at her and claimed that he would kill her and her husband. He then hit her in the right cheek, where she attempted to push him back and pulled her hair and pulled her face into the ground. The state is looking for a $2,000 surety bond. No further contact with the victim, a Miss Melissa Blalock. Stay away from 2800 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Southwest. Family Violence Intervention Program. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And sound for the victim when appropriate.
All right. Melissa Lalock. All right. Ms. Attea?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 43 years old. He's lived in Georgia all his life. He does deny the allegations. This incident allegedly occurred in 2022. And he denies the allegations.
This is my baby sister and our mother and father did.
Yes, so he would, he does work full-time, Your Honor. He understands his obligation to return to court. He's not a danger to the public. The alleged incident, December 12th, 2022 was a long time ago, and this is his sister, Your Honor. I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services, no violent contact, and nothing further.
All right.
Your Honor,
Yes, Ms. Dunlop?
if I may, the recommendation was just based on the fact that he has, it looks like 3 battery convictions in his history. Just a note.
20 years
Yes,
ago.
18, 20 years ago.
So is the state planning to upgrade this to a felony charge?
No.
I'm not asking you, sir. Is the prosecution intending to upgrade this to a felony charge if he's got prior battery, family violence convictions on his record?
1 second, Your Honor, let me just double check with Mr. Walker, but
In Georgia, if one has a prior battery, family violence conviction, any subsequent arrest is automatically a felony charge. Or the state has a right to upgrade it to a felony charge.
yes, Your Honor, Mr. Walker said we're waiting to hear back on this, so.
In the meantime, the bond is going to be set at $2,500. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. No violent contact with Melissa Laylock. And do they cohabitate?
No.
Okay. So he's not allowed to cohabitate or live with Miss Laylock. No illegal drugs, no weapons, no firearms, and no alcohol. And his make sure we have a current address on us. His next court date is going to be February 20, excuse me. His next court date will be sent to his current mailing address. Thank you.
Your Honor, her last name is B-L-A-L-O.
Oh, Laylock. Okay, I thought I heard Laylock. Okay. And is that B-L-A-L-O-C-H?
L-O-C-K.
C-K, okay. Got it. Thank you.
46.
No.
I said, that's you got the right.
Position 12, Turner.
Quentin Turner is accused of willful obstruction of an officer and theft by shoplifting from February 13th of this year. Case number 24 CR 754. Mr. Turner, you have a right to remain silent as advised, and your attorney is Ms. Atay. Any priors, please?
55. He's on probation for burglary in the second, felony shoplifting. Back in
what year was he convicted?
It was last year.
All right. Thank you.
They gave him 8 years probation in December. He got a.
No, that's good. Thank you. Ms. Dunlop?
Your Honor, this incident happened on February 13th at CBS at 2237 Cascade Road. Officers responded to a theft call. They noticed the defendant walking nearby with a bottle, it looks like detergent on the ground and a black backpack. He initially told officers he wasn't inside the store, and there was another male who grabbed the detergent and other items and ran, and he followed him out the door. Defendant then changed his story and said he was in the CBS, and then CBS also captured on camera leaving with the items, which were listed as 2 bottles of white all detergent, 2 bottles of blue all detergent, 2 Downy scent boosters totaling $73. Defendant also gave officers a false identity and refused to correctly identify himself. The state is looking for a signature bond through pretrial, a stay away from the CBS located at 2237 Cascade Road, an anti-theft course, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Any objection with the stay away, Ms. Atay?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Bond is set at $1,000 on each count. That's a $2,000 signature bond for pretrial services. This is going to be a level 2 reporting.
Can they go through the jail?
No. He has
Because he already got 3 shoplifting convictions in his history. Just so you know, I wasn't really done giving the history, but
the state has a right to upgrade the theft by shoplifting to a felony charge if they choose to do so. But right now it's a misdemeanor charge. Ms. Dunlop, do you have a different recommendation considering he's got 3 prior theft by shoplifting convictions?
1 second, Your Honor, because I only saw one. I saw one in 2015 and 2023. I didn't see a third theft.
I got 1 from 2022, 2 from 2014.
2 from 20.
And then yeah, like I stated too, he is on probation for the burglary and the felony shoplifting.
That's why it's a level 2 reporting.
My goodness.
$2,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 2. Mr. Turner, you'll be reporting to pretrial services twice a month. And if you get arrested again, or if you fail to appear in court, your signature bond will be revoked. You are to stay away from all CVS stores, including the one at 2237 Cascade Road in Atlanta, Georgia. If you need medication, you may have to consider an alternative like Walgreens or some such as that. Next court date will be sent to your current mailing address. Please maintain a current mailing address. Thank you. All right, that brings us to Moultrie. Do we have information?
The NOD has been sent in and processed, Your Honor.
It's being sent in the process.
I said it's been sent in and processed.
Oh, I see. I'm so sorry.
I didn't see CCU, but I did send it to Active Records and they did respond saying they received it.
Oh, is this the NOD or this is the
Yeah, the NOD for Belinda Moultrie.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's what we were talking about. Okay,
Yes,
then we'll just go with the calendar. Thank you.
Okay.
Position 1 body is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial. Position 2 is a $3,000 surety bond reset February 27th. Position 3 Dougherty is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial. 4 is a $500 surety bond reset February 27th. 5 Hayter is a 3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 6 is 2,500 signature bond through pretrial. 7 is a 3,500 surety bond reset date February 27th. 8 Morris is a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. 9 Reed is a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial. 10 Stowers is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. 11 is a 2,500 signature bond through pretrial. 12 Turner is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. I guess I'm hearing cricket. So we all good?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.